Hello and welcome to CurleySausageKitchen.com. My name is Keith Curley, the owner along with my wife Tammy. We've been doing this now. We opened our business in the year 2000. I have 40 years meat experience. I started out working in my father's locker in high school. I had purchased my own locker we've owned in retail shops. I also have worked in meat retail, grocery departments, and today I'm a federal meat inspector with the USDA. Today we're going to be making some jerky. We're going to do two different kinds. We're going to do kind of what I call the old-fashioned, where you actually sprinkle the seasoning on the sliced meat, and then we're going to also make a marinated one, which is quite easy. Let me run through the seasonings that the jerky we do sell. We sell a Jake's jerky, which has pretty much kind of a peppered base. We have a venison peppered jerky, which is very close to the Jake's. It has the peppered base. And then we have the hickory smoked jerky, which has a hint of hickory smoke in it. These three are, like I said before, are what I call the old-fashioned, kind of the old cowboy jerky, where it's actually just sprinkled on the meat and cured overnight. It comes with the seasoning and the brown sugar cure. You have to mix the two together and then sprinkle it on the meat. Then we also have a Cajun jerky. This one can be is for a marinade. You dissolve the seasoning and the cure in water and let the meat marinate in the jerky. We have a teriyaki, which is the same thing. It's a marinade, and you dissolve it in water and use it as a marinade. Now these two also can be used for ground and formed, like in the jerky gun, but we're not going to discuss that today, but these two can be made into jerky. So we're going to go ahead and prepare our meat, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we have our meat here. You're going to want to use beef rounds, some kind of lean meat. Of course, if you're using deer rounds, that's great. The deer rounds are lean, super lean anyway. But today I'm using an eye round. You can see it has some fat on the outside, but of course that eye right there is nice and lean. So what you want to do is you don't want any of that fat on there. Sometimes the fat will kind of give the jerky kind of a rancid flavor to it. So what you want to do is you're going to want to trim that fat off without gouging the meat too much. You can leave a little bit on the outside, but see these big gouges here. You want to get rid of that. So we'll just kind of trim that up a little bit. When you're using deer rounds, like I said, usually they're so lean, they won't need much trimming unless you got yourself a nice fat doe. Then you definitely want to trim that fat off. On a deer especially, it'll give it a rancid kind of a taste. Okay, got him cleaned up pretty good. Then another thing you're going to want to do with your meat, after you get it ready to slice, is throw it in the freezer. Maybe put a plastic bag or something. Stick it in the freezer, because when you go to slice it, if you don't, it's kind of flimsy and it's kind of hard to slice. So throw it in the freezer. Sometimes it might take half hour, 45 minutes. But you'd be surprised how easier the meats we'll slice. Okay, we have our trimmed meat, and I'm going to slice it now. I'm just using a inexpensive slicer you can buy. They work, they serve the purpose. They're not quite as good as the $400 one, but it serves its purpose. I like to slice my meat about 1/4 inch. I like it a little bit thicker, and when I go to smoke and dry it, I like my jerky a little bit softer. Some guys like it really dry and really tough and chewy. That's up to the person, but I like mine a little bit thicker and a little bit softer. So we're going to slice it about 1/4 inch or so. We'll go ahead and slice this whole thing, but yeah, see how nice and lean that is, and it should make for some good jerky. Okay, I have all the meat sliced. I went ahead and actually cut the eye around in half to make it a little bit smaller. You know, a guy could leave them bigger, be less work, but see how nice and lean them are. And that's what you want. So, well, anyway, what we're going to do, I talked about the old-fashioned, sprinkled on kind of cowboy jerky. That's what we're going to make first. You've got your seasoning. This one's called Jake's Jerky. It's probably our best-selling jerky. It has a peppered base, and you're going to need to mix it with the brown sugar cure, and they come as a pack. So what you want to do is go ahead and open these up. Take a bag or a bowl or whatever. Dump it in. Take the seasoning. Dump it in. Go ahead and maybe lock that up. Just give it a good shake. You want to give it good mixed. See how that brown sugar cure just kind of mixed all in there. So there, now you got your sprinkle on, the old-fashioned jerky is ready to go. One thing I do want to say is a lot of people ask me, can you use the sprinkle on jerky in ground and formed? I advise not to because it comes out kind of salty. I have had customers that did it, and some of them say they like it and some of them say they don't. So it's up to the customer, but I advise no, that this is only used on whole muscle meat only. Okay, so now you're going to need 2 pans. And you want to go ahead and dump some of this pre-mixed jerky onto a cake pan or any kind of sprinkle it around there a little bit. Set this off to the side. Then just take your jerky strips, lay them down. And sometimes this way is kind of time consuming, but what else does a guy have to do on a nice Saturday? Just go ahead and lay all them on there. This is, by the way, the same jerky that we used to make in our locker plants, retail businesses. So you can see with this meat sitting on here now, you pick it up and see that's pretty heavy. So what I kind of do is just just shake some of that off. Just take your forefinger and just kind of rub that off. And what I do is just lay I'm just seasoning the one side. And then you lay that piece on top of there, so that seasoning that's on this side will also season the side. Some guys will say they'll season both sides. That's fine. Sometimes might be a little bit peppery, but a lot of guys like it that way. So you just kind of shake some of that off, lay it directly on top. Like so. And the guy likes it spicier. You know, you can add a little more on there. Sometimes it's kind of a trial and error. You kind of have to try it. Another way too, I'm going to show you. Is you could, let me spread this out here. Just take your jerky strips, lay them down. And it's just however you want to do it. And just take a little bit, you know, you can just kind of sprinkle it on. You know, that maybe the people don't want it quite so spicy. Flip them over. Flip them on again. So there's, like I say, you know, there's different ways of doing it. You'll also notice as you're doing this, this meat will start turning kind of a dark color, and that's what it's supposed to do, because it has the sodium nitrite in that brown sugar cure, and that's what it's supposed to do. And we'll just go ahead here and finish this up, and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, we have the sprinkled type jerky been sitting here now for about 5-10 minutes, and you can actually see how dark that's turning. That's what you want. That means the cure is doing its thing and it's curing. So what we're going to do is it needs to sit in the refrigerator or cooler overnight, at least 8 hours for it to cure. So we're just going to take all this jerky and put it in a plastic bag. If you're going to put it in the refrigerator, I always suggest to put it in a sealed container or a bag. So you don't want cross-contamination if you got some cooked product in your refrigerator, like a chicken or a pizza or something. You don't want fresh meat come in contact with cooked meat. That's definitely a cross-contamination. So food safety wise, just put it in the bag, put a twisty on it, throw it in a plastic container with a lid, whatever, it don't matter. That way you can go ahead and throw it in the refrigerator, you know, right next to your cooked chuck roast or whatever, and it's not going to hurt a thing. Okay, now we're going to make the marinade jerky, which is quite simple. We're going to use the teriyaki today, and this is enough for 25 pounds. And I have 5 pounds of meat, so I went ahead and took the weight, which is 1.19 pounds, divided that by 5, that's how much meat I have, and I have 0.24, which that's how much seasoning that I went ahead and weighed out, which is about 4 ounces. The easiest way, now you're going to have to put the Jerky in it too. This is the same stuff you put like in summer sausage, or and they're like 1 ounce to 25 pounds. So it's awful hard to weigh that out on a scale. So the easiest way to do that, let me open it up here, is just take a teaspoon, a measuring teaspoon, not just something out of your, and 1 level teaspoon. is enough for 5 pounds. So there's five teaspoons in here for 25. We're only making 5, so it's 1 level teaspoon for 5 pounds. Go ahead and just dump that in there. So you got the seasoning in the cure. I'm going to dump it in a little larger container here. Okay, and also on the label it says to use 6 cups of water for 25 pounds of meat. So take that 6 divided by 5 pounds of meat, and you come up with 1.20. In other words, 1¼ cups of water. Dump that in there, like so. Gonna give it a stir, kind of let that cure and seasoning get all absorbed. Sometimes when you're doing this, there's the seasoning doesn't quite dissolve. I got gloves on. I just take my hand in there and kind of break that up a little bit. This is a marinade. I can smell the teriyaki already. Kind of mix her up good. Okay. Now you're going to want to just take another bag or a container or whatever, it doesn't matter. Open it up. Then take your 5 pounds of sliced jerky meat. Throw it in the bag. Take the marinade. Dump it in, like so. And you'll see there'll be a little bit of a marinade still kind of left on the bottom there. What I like to do sometimes is just take another little bit more water. It's not going to hurt anything. Just kind of rinse that around a little bit in there. Just to kind of pick up that marinade that kind of stuck to the bottom there. A little bit more water isn't going to hurt a thing. Okay. Now what you're going to want to do is just kind of work it around a little bit. And we'll let this sit in the refrigerator overnight, along with the other one there. So you can just kind of see, you want to make sure we get that marinade on all of it. Just keep giving her a shake. Like I say, this is easy way to do it. It actually turns out really good. This seasoning I did say earlier, you can take a jerky gun and make it ground and formed. You know, put it on a cookie sheet or whatever, and people like that a lot too. So anyway, we'll put a twisty on it. And what I like to do is, as the day goes on, we're going to let it set overnight until tomorrow. And as the day goes on, every 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever, every time you open the fridge, just, you know, kind of give it a shake. Because what's going to happen, that marinade is all going to kind of sink to the bottom. And, you know, like I say, you happen to be in the refrigerator to grab something, just take it out, shake it up a little bit. Before you go to bed, do the same thing. And so there, we have the old-fashioned jerky and we have the marinade jerky. We're going to let them sit in the refrigerator overnight. I usually say up to at least 8 hours. So if you get up early enough and you can do it in the morning and, you know, let it cure during the day, and you don't like smoking or dehydrating all day long, you can do that too. But we're just going to wait until tomorrow, and we'll go out in the garage outside, and we'll fire up the smoker, and we'll show you how we're going to smoke it. Some people use a dehydrator, which is great. I don't. I use my smokehouse because you can actually get smoke in there. If you're going to use a dehydrator, I have a lot of people ask, how do I get maybe the smoky flavor? Take some liquid smoke, And follow the directions on it. You know, a teaspoon to 5 pounds or whatever. Make sure you read the label. And you can add the liquid smoke right to that marinade, and that'll give you the smoky flavor. So, okay, we'll go ahead and throw these in the fridge, and tomorrow morning we'll take over.